how's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Backstage Press, the series that is ongoing, that is fun, and I have my good friend, and she can say her name, and like all the things that she does, and yada yada yada.
Nicole Benedetto. I am one of the head editors at Soundbites Media, and I also do Nicole did photography, concert photography, portrait photography, and I'm also a teacher.
There you go. Well, obviously, the first thing I would have to ask Nicole, well, we've been friends for a little bit because we did that little interview with Goodfall. I don't know if you heard of them, but you should go.
Never heard of them before.
Never heard of that before, but
Obviously have to check them out.
who knows who's heard of them before? But if you haven't, you should go check them out. And our interview was great because I could hear Nicole laughing as I was editing it throughout the entire interview, and then I found out that I couldn't record the audio because the audio that Chris sent me was not great. So, but we made do. So, but I have like no idea what you do, so which would make me just a terrible friend if I didn't ask this. And now we're on video, so now I feel like even more of a dickhead for I got called out on my own show by me, so it's like that Spider-Man meme where you like I'm pointing the finger at myself basically. But the first order of business would be, how did you kind of start out doing the photography thing, and like all of the things that involve that? I mean, I feel like you've been doing it for a long time. I feel like I've seen you before, but now I know who you are, so now it all comes together. But I guess, what was the first photography thing you had within like the music industry, like, in starting to do that? And obviously now you work for Soundbites, so we can delve into that a little later on. But what was the first like photography thing you did for like music related stuff?
First thing I did, I was on a publication called Cherry Pit, which
Okay.
was founded by Keanu. Um, and he kind of brought me on as a writer to begin with, and I saw how cool all the photography stuff was, and I really wanted to get into it. So my boyfriend Ben had a Canon Rebel T3i, so he lent me his DSLR to kind of play around with, and then Keanu brought me to my first show, which was Rich People.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Rich people.
it
Shout out
was,
to
it
them.
was Rich People and Night Verses at Boot and Saddle in Philly.
What?
And then, yeah,
Oh my god, that lineup. That
yeah,
is that
I
is
think
so
that was 2015. I
that's
wanna
a that's a that's a very strange lineup.
Yeah, so that was like my first show that I did, and then he took me to Here Now, which was another
Oh,
like
nice.
Philly band. So I did a show there, and then my friends were in bands, so I did a couple shows with them. And finally, he was like, "Okay, well, we're doing Warped Tour," and I'm like, "Can I do it?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." So I Warped Tour 2017, I want to say it was, as like
Ooh,
my big
nice.
it was the year that Dance Gavin Dance played.
So that's 2017 then, I
I
think.
think it's
I
2017.
believe you are correct. I went to that, so I feel like I kind of know. But also, we'll post Brandon will check in on that. But
Yeah. So that was like my first thing with music photography. And then we kind of cherry pick kind of dissipated from there, and I was a little lost, and then Laura picked me up for sound bites, and I started shooting for sound bites. So
did she like find out about your work? Like, obviously, I feel like you were doing work in between that tumultuous period of time. Maybe not. I don't know. I
it
guess not.
was, it was like really far and few between if I did shows because I wasn't on a publication. So it was really hard for me to get approved for stuff. The couple things that I got approved for, like I did Reign of Kindo when they played with Little Tybee at
Woo.
Magpie, which was a sick show.
Yeah.
And then the Rex, actually, I emailed the Rex and they let me shoot for them when they toured with New Politics.
Ooh.
So those were like the couple things that I did in between, but there really wasn't much for me to do because I mean, at that point, my friends' bands also kind of stopped playing shows, and I felt very lost. But
So I
Laura,
guess how did Laura find out about what you did, and like, did you ever feel like you were like, did you take a break? I mean, obviously you took a break from it, but did you feel like I don't know if I want to come back to it. I don't know if I want to do the photography thing, or did you kind of like go into a different space and you're like, oh, well, I'll do portrait photography, or I'll do something else to kind of like bide the time. And that sounds very terrible to say, but just like, like, did you find something that you were like, oh, okay, well, if all of my friends' bands aren't doing stuff and I don't like know anybody else, that you just were like, oh, let me try something else to maybe kind of fill that void, and then hopefully maybe I'll get back into it. Who knows?
I kind of did like a little bit of portrait stuff. Like we went to the Delaware Water Gap, or we went to the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, and like I kind of did just stuff in between, but I really wanted to shoot shows. So I was actively searching for a publication when I saw Sound Bites. I know Laura and I were mutuals, I think,
Okay.
on either Twitter or Instagram or something. And she ended up finding my work through that, and she kind of saw potential in it and said, hey, we were wondering if we could bring you on, because I did like publicly announce it on one of my social medias that I kind of felt a little lost and needed a publication, and she saw that and picked me up from there. So in between, I did do a little bit of portrait stuff, but it wasn't like I do like family portraits and stuff now. It wasn't anything like that at the time, because I still feel like it was almost like just starting
Yeah.
because of how little experience I had shooting from just not really being able to pick up on things.
Yeah, and then how has it been with sound bites? I see a lot of stuff, and I feel like they're not all like, I feel like you guys are spread across. If you can tell me if I'm wrong, they're all spread across the states. I'm pretty sure. I know. I feel like there's not. I know that there's more than one publication. I'm like, I swear to God, I was like, if Nicole's going to travel to like Dallas or some shit, I'm gonna be very upset. I was like, that's sick. I was like, that's frustrating to me, but I would respect that because I would be like, she's getting that bread, gotta give her that support. So I was like, but I was like, that seems a little bit too. I was like, she's flying to like Dallas and then she'll fly to like California. I'm like, that doesn't seem realistic. So I was like, let me actually check. And then I was just like, oh, okay, there's more people out here. Makes sense now.
I do travel for shows. Like I've gone over to the UK to see bands a couple times. Like I've traveled for shows with friends, but I try to keep it local for shooting in this area. Like I'd love to bring the camera out as far as I can, but a lot of the stuff that you do see is from other members of the team. We're spread out across the US and we're also international.
Oh, so
So
it's a mix.
yeah, so it's like a little bit of a mix. We have a decent amount of people kind of in each area. So we're always looking for new people if anybody
Hey, let's do it.
anybody needs a competition. But
But I
yeah.
guess the next thing would be like, what do you like when you're shooting? Like, do you have any advice for people like starting out and doing the whole photography thing? Because I feel like whenever I go to shows, I see a bunch of people in the pit and they're all biting for the same three songs, and it's just like chaos. Like, so do you have any suggestions for like people starting out doing the whole like photography thing? I know I've caught you in the act a few times at shows, especially the one that I can remember most familiar is the one with Body Snatcher, where you were scared for your life, and I was also scared for you as a friend. I was like, don't die, Nicole. I was like, I need to see you at shows, and I'd be very upset if you just got mutilated on the floor. But like, what are some like tips or things you can pass on to the person watching this that once again for photography doesn't really know like anybody, like, so how do
Mhm.
you kind of ascertain those things?
I guess like the big thing that has stuck with me from when I first started, even until now, is just take any opportunity that you can to shoot.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether it's because it kind of pulls you out of your comfort zone as well
Oh
and
yeah.
you to kind of work with what you got almost. Like if you're not used to shooting hardcore, obviously be careful, but like that might be something that you want to explore because it kind of forces you to find different ways to shoot the stage without dying, which would be it might be an unconventional way for you when you're used to being inside of a photo pit for
Yeah.
3 songs, kind of untouched from the rest of the crowd. So it forces you to learn different angles and learn different spots that you can shoot in. just taking every opportunity that you can and just finding local venues around you and making friends with local bands and just anybody that you can kind of talk to, making friends with other photographers even as well, because they'll also, I mean, I feel like a lot of the community, while there is, some people do believe that there's people who don't want to help. That's true, but
Yeah.
there's so many people who do want to help and who do want to provide that for you. So just finding those people and kind of, using them almost like a mentor, really.
Yeah, Nicole's not one of those people. Don't reach out to her. Don't talk
Oh
to her.
no,
She'll
I
she'll
hate
she'll give
that.
you she'll give you so much lip. Don't want that. No, for real. Honestly, like when
Mhm.
when we had met like at the Good Fall interview, I was like, I know I'm gonna see you at more shows. I was just like, and not that we had just a great time. That was such a great shoot, but I was like, for me, like I always like talking to different people because especially
Mhm.
locally, because I know for a fact, like if I'm going to a show, I'm like, I gotta ask Nicole if she's gonna be at this show, and then I'll make like a Facebook post. I'll be like, I'm at Dance Gavin
Mhm.
Dance. Who's here? Where's the fam at? And then you're like, I'm already in the pit, like And I was like, tight. There we go. I was like, Nicole's working, but I do agree with that. Like a lot of people here, I would say more so than I would say any other genre. I feel like everybody in like the alternative scene are like really open to help out, and
Mhm.
like this is the whole reason why I did this, was because I know there's so many talented people out there, including yourself, Nicole. And like for me, it's a good way for me to highlight the people that like work behind the scenes, that do a lot of hard work.
Mhm.
And I know how hard it is because your boy shoots that YouTube's life. So I know how hard it is. So I wanted it to be an opportunity to like kind of show other people like, hey, this is what happens, and like you can always reach out to these people.
Mhm.
Granted, don't message them at like 3 in the morning like I did when I asked Nicole. I was like, can you help me out with this video thing, please? And you're just like, Kino might know, and then Kino answered me. Shouts to Kino. um
Which is like the fun thing though is message them at 3 in the morning. It's fine. Like
don't answer it.
but all of us are always awake. But like the other thing that I do want to put out there is, of course, for people who do reach out, if like you're not getting an answer or those people aren't helping you, not to get discouraged
Hmm.
and not to be afraid to reach out to other people, because like I know that that's happened in the past where like I've reached out to people and they
Same.
either might not have had time to answer, and that's because all of us have such busy schedules. And like you just kind of take that and go, okay, like I'll go ask a different person and hopefully they get to me.
And then also, it's like you're creating that network of people. It's like if you
Mhm.
can't reach out to one person, maybe somebody else will be able to help, or they can get you or antiquated with somebody else. So
Mhm.
definitely appreciate that. But I know I've seen you in the photo pit. So what are some like etiquette techniques, your boy, like when you're at shows? Because I know I see it a lot with like photographers, and I am not a photographer, but I'll take video and I almost always get screwed because somebody, I'll like be like recording the video on my like
Mhm.
camera, and somebody will be taking a photo and be right in front of it. And I'm not trying to call anybody out. I respect all of you, but and I know you're trying to get your shot, so I respect that. But like for
Mhm.
me, I'm like, man, this sucks. And I know I'm not in the pit, so that's my fault for not doing it
Mhm.
entirely. But what are some like etiquette stuff? Because I did shoot pit one time, and I felt like I was just like, it was just like a like what's that, it's that
It's
one
always
meme. It's just like chaos. It's that one meme where like Mr. Krabs is like standing there and there's just like a bunch of shit going around him. That's how I felt. Like that was my life, because there was like 5 or 6 different photographers are all shooting, and then like one's like
Mhm.
looking at me like, are you just gonna stand there? I gotta get the shot. And I'm like, sorry, I don't know anything about this. So then I just kind of like
Mhm.
bowed out and like walked away. So what are some like etiquette, some stuff that you try to hold to when you're in the pit? Because you only get 3 songs, so I feel like
Mhm.
everybody's just like, get the hell out of my way, or I'm gonna like, I need the shot.
Yeah, I mean, so like a big one is not staying in one spot for too long. So like obviously you have to you got to plant
You
for like
gotta
a couple
move.
minutes to get your shots, but you want to make sure that you're moving because you also want variety in the different angles that you have. You don't want all of your shots to be from one side of the stage unless I know sometimes when they have a catwalk, they'll say you have to choose sides, but if that's not the case and you have an open pit, you want to try to get as much variety. So you want to be moving. You always want to be alert to everything that's happening. So it's overwhelming for that reason because you have to watch the other photographers, you want to watch security, and you kind of also want to keep an eye on the crowd as well.
Crowd
It's
surfers. Oof.
crowd surfers, ducking and dodging, but like it's great to get crowd shots and get shots of those people that are on barricade because they're going hard for their favorite band. So
Yeah.
like you kind of just want to be aware of everything around you. Um, I would also say, making sure that again with being aware of everything around you that you're not walking directly in front of people and a tap on the shoulder is all you need to alert somebody that you want to get through. So just give them a quick tap and either you'll go behind them or if you're going to go in front of
Or like
them,
go underneath. Yeah.
a duck, yeah. And something that I like to try to keep in mind, especially concerning the people on barricade, if possible, stay as low as you can just because those people that are on barricade did wait there for probably hours in some cases, so you want to make sure that they're still enjoying the show and they're still getting to enjoy those first three songs as
Yeah, it's
well.
not like this where you're like seeing someone's back like all like you. That's the
Mhm.
worst. I mean I very rarely go up front because I'm an old man and I like standing in the back next to the sound guy with my arms crossed. Either that or I'm like up close shooting with my camera. So like I'll do that. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the times people don't really talk about it, and like so for me, it was a point of pride to ask the question because I know
Mhm.
you're a seasoned pitter, so I know for myself I had to ask the question. But yeah, I've definitely seen some stuff. So hopefully, people that
Mhm.
watch this video hopefully get some more information about pit etiquette, and also like I feel like it doesn't happen very often, but I definitely have seen it once or twice. Is when somebody's crowd surfing and there's just like a bunch of all the photographers are there, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna say a prayer real quick because one of you is gonna get fucked up.
I mean, I've been in pits before. I know the one that always comes to mind was Neck Deep at Starling Ballroom when they played with Worcester or Waster, however you say it,
That you said it
WR.
right. You said it right the first time, I think.
So, however you say it, but they played with them and oh my god, there were a bunch of it was a pop punk lineup, but
Yeah,
like the minute that Neck Deep went on from the first song, it was just a sea of people coming over, and I watched a girl just get straight up like kicked in the head because she wasn't paying attention to security and wasn't paying, and they were pushing us, and she just got kicked in the head, and I felt so bad because I'm like, ugh. Like you get those moments where it is just pure chaos, and you kind of have to like think like, oh God, where should I be right now? That I'm getting my shots, but also not in the way and not getting literally just
like laid
attacked.
on. Yeah, literally like just smacked down. Like I feel like I'd be like a WWE wrestler and just get like just pile drived. Um, but I have an interesting question. You can choose to answer it or not. What was one of your worst experiences shooting, and how did you kind of like grow from that experience? If you want to talk about it, I know that's kind of like a very tumultuous
um,
topic.
I mean, so I won't say the show or the venue or anything, but I was in the pit and there was a person in the pit who I haven't really recognized, so I don't know if it was like a first show type deal or if they were from out of town or what. Like I don't
Yeah,
know, but this dude just it was everything possible about pit etiquette, like the opposite of what you were supposed to do. Like like at one point he literally just walked and planted in front of me while I was taking a shot, and I was like, I have a photo somewhere on my hard drive of just him instead of the stage because it was in the middle of me pressing the shutter, and I was blown away that he did that. And then he walking back and forth just like straight up holding his camera above his head for almost the entire set, but standing directly up against the stage. And again, like I don't know if that's, never having been in a pit before, or that's just how
How he
he does
does it.
thing. But that's when you kind of want to tell people, like, hey, just to let you know,
That's not what you do.
like that's not what we do here.
They
And again, like, you can't blame some people, because if it is their first time,
have no idea.
they just need to be reminded, because it's an unwritten thing. It's kind of just spoken about, but there's no set rules that anybody follows. So, just to be aware of those things when you're shooting,
Yeah.
because that was definitely a rough experience, because then I was having trouble getting shots, because I was trying to basically
Like
duck and
evade
dodge.
him, and you're like,
Yeah, I was trying to work around him, but it was a good experience for me in a way, because then I also kind of had to challenge myself to work around him, and to figure it out for myself. So I always take those experiences as well as just a way to learn.
yeah, absolutely. And then to follow that one up, what was your favorite show that you've shot so far? What's one that you're just like, holy shit, like this one came out like either the prints, like either like the photos came out like super lit, like they're just like, oof, I did a great editing job on it, or was, I guess
Mhm.
you can do one that you're just like the edits came out like chef's kiss, and then one that is more like it was just such a great like show that you're like, I got some really great shots because it was just like the crowd
Mhm.
was engaged, the band was killing it, like all that sort of stuff, lighting was on point.
Yeah. Oh my God. I've shot, like, I feel like with each show, depending on who, like, I feel like there's a lot of shows where I get that way, where I get really excited when I see the shots, and I'm just like, oh, this is the best one. Oh, this is the best one. I guess the two that immediately came to mind were Bring Me the Horizon,
Ooh, okay. Where was
because
that? Where was that at? If you don't mind me asking, Nicole.
they played the Met in Philly.
Ooh, okay.
So that was really cool, because I feel like that was a much bigger production from what I'm used to seeing
Yeah.
from them, and their lights were amazing. Just the energy that they have on stage is amazing. And they're one of my favorite bands, so it was such a rush to finally be like,
I'm shooting them.
I got approved for this, because I remember getting denied the previous time that I applied.
I feel
So
that.
so to get approved, I was like, so that was one, and that's one of my favorite shots that I've ever taken, was from that show as well. So there's that, and then biased, but Enter Shikari. They
Oh, I
played.
knew it. I knew that was coming. I had a feeling. I was just like, let me ask this question because I know Nicole's gonna say Enter Shikari. Which,
Played
by the way, check them out. That those three new songs, heat, straight fire. If
So
you
good.
watch this Enter Shikari, please come on. You make a boy's dream real happy. But anyway, Nicole, I don't want to take away from your story, so
Oh,
you can continue.
they played the Foundry at the Fillmore in Philly,
Oh yeah.
which was a nice little intimate. But the minute that they announced that show, the first thing I had in my head was, oh my God, he's gonna climb the rafters, because Rao just, he climbs when he sees something he can
We
climb.
climb.
It's it's just, their live show is always incredible, no matter where you see them, big venue, small venue, just anywhere. Their live show is amazing. So I feel like the energy from them and the energy from their fans was, it made for some really cool shots of them just doing their thing. And I felt like this, like, adrenaline rush as I was shooting them the entire time, because they're also one of my favorite bands. So, like, top
So
top
you're so
top
you're
one or
like
top two.
everything was just like this. It was just like straight
It was
skyrocket.
it was an amazing time. Same thing with All Time Low. Like, the last time that I shot All Time Low for the Nothing Personal tenure, um, oh my God, same thing, where, it's, I feel like when you are shooting somebody that you have like a deep connection to their music, I feel like that's some of the best shots that you're gonna get, because you're just so into it. So yeah, I
That's
would say,
those are the ones.
yeah.
Great choices, great band choices. I gotta give the major cosign to Enter Shikari's because I feel like they get underwritten. I'm not gonna try doing that because I'm just not. But Enter, oh, see, I should have known better. I should have known better when I was gonna ask that question. But no, yeah, I'm very stoked for the new record. I've always been kind of like an underground fan of them. Like I really haven't I've listened to their stuff, but I just feel like they are just. I feel like they're criminally underrated, still are. So go check them out. But Nicole, I gotta ask some band questions. I've been asking some band questions when I've been doing these interviews, so I'm curious how you're gonna answer them. Which would be the first one: what have you been jamming recently? What's on the Spotify? What have you been listening to lately? Tell the people what's going on.
So All Time Low is coming out with their new album. So I've been jamming all of their new stuff. They released, I think, like 5 singles total from this album because
What?
I
5? Oh my god.
I think they just want to release the
I
album.
think so. Yeah.
They've been live streaming and releasing a song with like each live stream almost. So I've been jamming them. Obviously the new Enter Shikari stuff. The last couple singles that they released. Oh my god, so good. Then Coven, which is like an electronic band from I think they're from the UK as well. They just released a new album which I really liked. And Milk Teeth released a new album that I also really liked. That was kind of we put it on while I was playing Tetris yesterday, and I was like, this is nice. I like this.
While the quarantine
DGD's
is out.
announcing new album,
Oh, DGD, and they announced the new dates.
new album coming out, so what was that?
And the new dates were posted for the new tour.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yep.
kind of sad Royal Coda is no longer on it, but I feel like a good replacement was Wolf and Bear, so totally okay with that. And if somebody wants to get me into the show, because the show is still sold out, so that sucked. But I might just get in that press way. DGD. I know you watch this, so
There's a second date.
I know. But DGD, please love me and let's do an interview, please. I just need you to love me. That's all I want. I wanted that would I don't know. I feel like my channel would be that much bigger if I did DGD. But the next question, Nicole, another band related question. If you were to compile a dream tour lineup, who would be on it? What is the Nicole dream tour?
Okay. Enter Shikari. I mean, realistically, I would love to see Enter Shikari, All Time Low, You Me at 6 tour together, and that would be sick.
Yeah.
It'll never happen, but that would be sick. Even just like Enter Shikari and You Me at 6, I'd be down for that. And like throw Def Havana in there, and we're golden.
Def Havana. Ooh. That new stuff. Good. I'm all about it.
Was so sad when they had to cancel their tour, and I still have not seen them live, and just sad. Sad.
Hopefully they'll be coming back because I do want to see them too. I found out about them like when they were in their post-hardcore phase and they had the scrams, and now they don't anymore, which is still sad. But they still sound very good. I love the new record, so I'm excited to see them. Yumi X6, I've seen. It's been a while, but they're great, fantastic UK band too, and I think they're releasing a new record soon. I think.
They didn't announce anything unless I'm that far behind. They did the 2 singles though.
The 2 singles. That's what it was.
Yeah. They announced the 1 single over the summer, and they played it at Reading. So I got to see the new single live when I went to Reading, which was sick. And that drop was great live. I loved it. And then they announced the 2nd single as part of relief for the Australian wildfires.
I think you're correct. Yeah.
So yeah.
So hopefully they'll have a new record soon, please, guys. But the last thing, Nicole, obviously the most important thing. Tell them about where they can find you at on the social media. What's the best way to contact you if they live in the tri-state area? Because I don't know if you go beyond that, but we're gonna leave the option open. So
I leave my options open.
Leave the option open, but tell the people where they can find you at and follow you and all that good stuff.
So my @ for Instagram is Nicole Dib Photography. So NicoleDib Photography. Same thing on Facebook. I have my pages titled Nicole Dib Photography. And then same for the email. I try to keep everything pretty
I feel
consistent.
that.
And then, we have our Soundbites Media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram that I also answer stuff on. So if anybody's interested and would like to join a publication, we got that open for you as well.
There we go. Well, obviously Nicole and I are very good friends, and it was a point of pride for me to have Nicole on because she is also local, and as well as that, a very great photographer. So go check out her stuff. All the social media will be below because I'm almost positive that she will send me it after this is over with, and so I won't have to look it up. So go check out Nicole's stuff. Again, great photographer in the area, and if you are a part of the music industry and you'd like to come on, feel free to drop me a line either via email or on social media. I check all that stuff because it's just me, so I'll do it all. And then also, if you want to know about Sound Bites, there will also be links for that. If you're interested in joining that and being a part of that as well. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Nicole will be able to answer that for you. And if you enjoy this interview, share, like, and subscribe. Make sure to go tweet at Enter Shikari, just because we can, and we're gonna do it, because they're the best. And Rue, if you want to come on and chat, that social distancing vibes, if you want to get that on, we can do that. I don't know how busy you are. You got a new record coming out. I'm just saying, putting it out there in the universe. So check them out, and check all the bands out we mentioned. And again, go check out Nicole's stuff. And thank you to Nicole for coming on and chatting.
Thank you for having me on.